Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'll be posting new content. So I'll be having 2 videos per week instead of 1 video. One will be the Sunday market breakdown for the coming week, and the other one will be a review of the previous week. Okay, the pairs that we analyzed last week on YouTube is the ones that we'll review. Yeah, so I'll give you my reasons to why I took a trade and why I did not take a trade. Okay, so I will go through the pairs that we did analyze last week. Yeah, we have a lot of pairs, but since for YouTube I usually at least narrow it down to some few pairs, because most pairs I have over 10 pairs which I usually look at, and I usually analyze them with my premium members. So if you want to join my mentorship program, you can link me up on my WhatsApp. The contact is on the description, or on my Telegram, the link is also in the description. So for today, let's do a review of last week, how the market went down. So first we have dollar card. Yeah, we have dollar card. If you haven't seen the previous video, just go back and check it last week, then you come back to this one, see how they formed. So on the dollar card, we had this lovely pair over here, this lovely pattern, and we were anticipating this push to the downside from these levels over here. Okay, this was the push that we were anticipating for us to get in, but as you can see, due to volatile news that happened last week, we had a lot of news which caused the market to push to the upside, so it did extend. So with this trade, we did not have any entry for us to take this trade, because as usual, we usually wait for that impulsive push to the downside followed by a corrective move, then that's where we enter the trade. So with this one, the pattern didn't play out and didn't give us a correction, or it didn't give us a correction to enter, so we had no trade in this pair. But currently the way I'm seeing this trade going is that I'm seeing this pair to soon start reversing to the downside, because the extension of this correction has been too long. Okay, we need to see at least a pullback. If it's continued to the upside, we'll need to see at least a pullback, then we continue pushing to the upside. Yeah, but I don't expect this one to continue pushing up from these levels over there. Yeah, so that's all for dollar card. Euro pound, we also had a very lovely pattern on euro card over here, and we had this key area to watch out for. So with this pair, once we tapped that third touch, you can see we had a third touch over here with another inside pattern, which was so nice to see. You can see we had pattern within pattern, and it was so nice for this one, because I was so sure with this trade, because the patterns lined up so nicely and it had broken our key area over here. Yeah, so with this pattern breaking the downside, what we did is you went to a lower time frame. As I told you guys, usually wait for a lower time frame entry, and our entry was in these levels. I forgot to post this one. Okay, so our entry was here, and we did enter in these levels. Yeah, we did enter in these levels. I told you guys to wait for this pullback. So once the pullback came, you can see the price pushed the downside, but again started pushing up, down, and up again. So seeing this move, you can clearly see this move has been corrective to the downside. Yeah, this move is so corrective. It's not an impulsive move. We were anticipating this move to be something like this, but you can see that if you zoom it out, you can see this is a clear corrective move for indication for another push to the upside. So with that structure in mind, I did close my trade early because of this corrective move happening in these levels. So I did close my trade once this price came back down over here. You can see the first push to the upside, I didn't close my trade, but once we pushed down, had this bit of dirty move over here. We had this dirty move of long wicks, so I decided to close my entry because the market wasn't that convincing to push to the downside. So I did close that trade, and you can see my prediction was right. The price pushed to the upside after the news. Yeah, so currently I'm not looking at this one right now, because the move has already happened. if I'll enter a buy is only when I see a corrective push to the downside, then we'll enter the buys. But for now, there is nothing to see over here. So if you did take this trade, I expect you to have either stopped at break even or secured some small profits, because this one went to around 40 something pips, yeah, over 40 pips. So it was a lovely setup. It's only that it didn't fully work out. Yeah. Next is Cardian. We also had this pattern over here. We had this pattern, and as you can see from previous video, I told you guys to wait for this correction over here up to this value area, then we take it to the downside. But you can see the price didn't come to that value area, so there was no trade that was taken over here. Even though seeing this on Cardian, you know, yen pairs most of the time they move the same. So I use this in conjunction with euro yen. You can see with euro yen, it came back to the value area, unlike Cardian. Euro yen came back to that value area, and it came back nicely with the three touch pattern. So with euro yen, I did take the trade because it came back to my value area. It broke the downside. Then I looked again for another entry on lower time frame in this area, and I took again the trade. So I didn't hold that much, because seeing the move on Cardian, you can see the move on Cardian didn't give us that correction over here to this level. So I was thinking that this price might again start to push to the upside, forming a bigger correction for continuing to the downside. That's why I decided to close my trade early. Yeah, I decided to close my trade early. And also I had this pattern over here in mind. Over here. I always focus on scenarios that might happen. Yeah, so I had this pattern in mind. So with this pattern, we had 1, 2. So I was anticipating this third touch to push this market to the upside, and as you can see, it did push the market to the upside. Yeah, it did push the market to the upside, but the market just tapped our second entry and then pushed again to the downside due to the news that happened. Yeah, this was the news, and now it's correcting towards the downside. So potentially we will start seeing that bigger correction coming, then we continue to the downside. Yeah, so I'll be waiting to see that correction over there. So this one was also a lovely trade. Of which it was some lovely pips. This one was like 150 pips. So if you take, like I entered on these two positions, is like 300 pips. So this one was a nice trade. Next is pound Swiss franc. We also had pound Swiss franc last week, and as you can see, our three touch pattern did play out very nicely as we expected it, but it didn't give us a correction for us to enter the market. It never did. The news didn't give us that room to enter this market. The price pushed up very impulsive to the upside. So I was anticipating this price to come back to this value area for me to get in for these buys. But you can see what happened is that the price violated this area. Didn't give us any reversal candlestick pattern in this level, and it just continued to the downside. So with this one, currently I'm not looking at it, because the third touch did play out, but it didn't give us our entry that we always look for. Yeah, so let's go to the last one, which is gold. We also had a very lovely pattern. If I'm to invert it, we had this pattern over here, which we had broken this key area. Okay, once we broke this key area, I was anticipating this race now to push to the downside, because it will have trapped many people on the wrong side. So once that happened, I looked for my entries. You can see we had a nice impulsive candle over here. This was a nice impulsive candle, and after that impulsive candle, we were left with an order block in these levels. But I didn't use the order block. Instead, I used my value area. Yeah, so once the price came back to my value area, what I did is I looked at this candle over here. I want to show you why I closed the trade from there and where I entered. So I entered after this candle, this second green candle over here. Once I saw this green candle over here, because we are still in our value area and within this order block. So once I saw this green candle, I did enter from these levels over here. The price pushed down immediately and then broke up again impulsive. So going down to a 15 minutes, you can see the price formed a low, over here, the price formed a low, then it pushed to the upside and broke this high. So once the price broke this high, I moved my stops up to this low over here, this previous low, because I didn't expect this price to come back down again, because we've already broken this high over here. So what happened? No, first let's just start with this one. This one is the same thing. This one we did form a low, we broke this high and the price pushed to the upside. So I didn't expect again price to come back to this level. So once it came back over here, it took me out with some few profits, okay, because this is gold. So this one was a bit of, these were nice profits actually. And again, once the price came back to the downside, you can see we formed another good rejection candles in this area. So immediately I saw this long weak rejection, I entered on the next candle. You can see the price played around my entry and then finally decided to push to the upside. Now once it pushed to the upside on 15 minutes, same thing, where I waited for this high to be broken. Once it was broken, I moved my stops below this low over here. So once I moved below that low, you can see the price pushed down and took me out again. Yeah. So once it took me out the second time with small profit, I did not look for any other entry because the price was forming it was a sort of consolidation over here. You can see this area, it was consolidation. This area was all consolidation. So I decided to look at what the price might do on the next move, because it wasn't that convincing that it will push to the upside. So what happened is the price continued to play around. This week happened during the news, and finally it broke to the downside. And you can see this push over here was so corrective, so it could have gone either way, because it didn't give us clear direction in price. So with that, the price broke the downside. I'm still biased to the upside. I'm still biased to the upside because I'm following with the DXY and I'm still biased to the upside. So this one I'll be looking to just adjust it to this recent anchor point over here. See if I can catch those buys again. So this is the update that I will have in gold, and hopefully it will play out. So we are approaching this third touch over here. We are approaching this third touch, so we'll see how it goes again. So what I'll want to see is just a convincing push, aggressive push to the upside, followed by a correction. Then I'll look to enter again this straight to the upside. Yeah, if it extends, then we'll adjust our pattern to this level over here. We just move with what the market is doing. You're just according to what the market is doing, guys. Okay, so that's it for this week. I'll be posting these videos probably on Friday evening or on Saturday morning, so that it comes fast before the market breakdown for the next week. Yeah, so remember to like, share and subscribe, and also you can comment on which pairs that you'd like me to analyze it for you coming next week. Yeah, so I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers, guys.